Every artist receives criticism. We have people in our lives, parents, friends, teachers, who have things to say about our work. But all of us, every single one, are critical of our own creations. So whether you have people passively or aggressively critiquing your work right now, you will certainly have to respond to criticism of some kind in your art journey. Greetings, my name is Zach. I'm an artist and an art teacher, and I am my own most active critic. I don't know if I'm my best or worst, but I am certainly the most active. In this video, we are going to discuss critique and how best to respond to it. I am going to focus on responding to criticism as artists and how we can progress forward after it comes our way. I don't want to spend time on canned responses to your critics, as I do not think this is beneficial. That is likely a waste of time for all parties involved. No, instead, I think it is important to focus on the universal component. How do we analyze criticism, pull whatever nutrients from it we can, and then continue forward? Let's start with internal criticism, because honestly, it is most important. You have likely heard the phrase, "you are your own worst enemy," or artists are often their own worst critics. There is truth in these two statements, for sure. We as artists have a desire to grow, to improve, and through a mixture of that desire to progress and comparison, we can be so hard on ourselves. Many people over the years in art circles have called this phenomenon the inner critic. This is not specific to the art world, obviously, but the inner art critic seems to be more nefarious than his other incarnations. So if it helps you to think of this internal critique as your inner art critic, go ahead. Let's take a look at some strategies to handle that criticism, to respond to it in a healthy way. Separate the critique from yourself. Write it down. Seriously, get it out of your mind for a moment and actually look at your own self-critiques. This sucks. Crappy painting. Why can't I make backgrounds that look good? These thoughts may course through your mind like a raging river, but they lose some power and momentum when they sit there in front of you. Your beautiful, hard-won drawing has been reduced to, "this sucks?" Don't sell yourself short. Sometimes these reflections might be accurate, but when you get them out of your mind, you can sift through the debris and find what is correct and what is just junk. Much of our internal dialogue about our artwork is just that, junk. In order to find the pieces of this menagerie that can benefit us, it helps to get the words out of our ethereal mindscape and onto something tangible. Almost like artists benefit from getting things down on paper for some reason. Here's another strategy. Try to shift the critical commentary. Try rephrasing things to focus on the positive aspects of a thing. "I'm terrible at painting" can easily turn into, "this painting did not turn out well." That is a wonderful movement psychologically. It is no longer you who are the failure, it's the piece. This can go one step further too, shifting again to, "I need to focus on getting better at painting." This removes it even further, and it becomes a set of marching orders. For better or worse, we as humans seem to categorize things in our minds as positive or negative, and if you can take that negativity and shift it ever so subtly towards neutrality or even positivity, you can win in that moment. Try sharing with someone you trust. If you have supportive people in your life, share your self-criticisms with them. If you honestly trust them, their opinions of you and their opinions of your work, this conversation can give you a valuable dose of perspective. Sometimes we get so locked behind our own eyes that we cannot see beyond the canvas. I've had many times over the years in the classroom where a student feels like they are a terrible artist. Nothing they make is good enough for them, and they feel like everything is a failure, and yet their friends and family have nothing but good to say about their work. If you trust these people, truly trust them, trust their words. They probably aren't lying to you just to make you feel better. It happens, sure, but it is not as common as you might think. People want honest feedback, and so, if asked, seldom provide lies instead. You do have to trust humanity a bit here. Tough sometimes, I know, but if you have good people who aren't your mom that hangs everything up on the fridge, this is a wonderful idea. And if your mom still does hang everything up on the fridge, that's its own kind of special benefit. Now here's a tough one. Try putting your emotions to the side for a moment. Realize that criticism stops you in your path. It is a roadblock. Do you want to stop or do you want to move forward? As hard as it is, if you want to keep moving, then keep moving. Bad pieces happen to everyone. Don't let your internal critic hold you back. If you want to accomplish something with your art, you have to learn to work alongside your inner critic, or you have to learn to ignore them. Every time you clash with them is an opportunity to hone your skills and keep moving forward. If you are an emotional person, as artists often tend to be, this might be quite difficult. Work through it one bit at a time. Your emotions are important, they are valid, but they are a part of you, and if they are holding you back in a moment, you have to think about how you can manage them. And be gracious with yourself. Art is hard. I feel like I say that in a lot of my videos. Let's move over to external criticisms for a moment. These are more notorious, I believe, but often more rare. When they do occur, though, it can feel like your world is toppling around you, especially if the critique comes from someone you trust. Here are some strategies to handle these when they come your way. Avoid taking it personally. Wait, you might say, it was personal. They said I suck, that I should give up on my dreams. Sometimes these things will happen. People will be jerks and they will tell you awful things they may or may not believe. You cannot change other people. What you can do is try to avoid internalizing what they say. You can try to fight taking it personally. There's a big difference between someone saying you have a long way to go as an artist and you are a terrible artist, but at the end of the day, they are likely saying the same things. Your art, your need to create is yours and yours alone. Don't give other people the power to make you feel terrible about it. Don't take their comments and make them a part of you. You get to determine who you are as an artist. And when you really understand yourself as an artist, these comments don't hurt as much. They may always hurt, but they won't sting quite as badly. Mind the criticism. This might be manipulative on my part, but if someone is criticizing you, I feel like it's justified to benefit from it in whatever way you can. So assess the validity of what they say. Is there anything true in what they are saying? Are there compliments veiled in there? Try to pick out anything beneficial in the comments and critiques you receive. In a beautiful, wonderful world, this might be a set of class-based critiques where everyone gathers around and talks about each other's work. In this situation, you have a rich field to mine, lots of comments that are either encouraging or actually tell you how to get better. Eat it up. If the comments are chiefly negative, regardless of the environment, try to sift through the crap and find the nuggets of gold. Your background seems too simple for your character. Oh, you think my character is well detailed? The light source on your mountains is inconsistent. Good, you could still tell they were mountains. Shift the narrative and find the good in what they are saying. It's like heaping coals. And try actively listening to the critiques. If you can avoid being defensive, if you can sit there in that moment and pull apart what is being said, you will quickly decipher whether their argument holds water or if it's just made of cardboard. In addition, it allows you to more actively assess the validity of what they are saying and decide what you would like to take from it, and what you would like to disregard. This can also keep you from taking things too personally as you focus on the content being given to you and not on what could be perceived as personal attacks. Next, consider the source. Ask yourself this: when you get unrequested feedback on your art, would you go to this person for advice about your art? If the answer is no, then think long and hard about simply ignoring the artistic aspects of their information. People often offer advice in areas that they are unqualified to discuss. Here is a very important thing to consider when taking information and feedback from other people. Balance the positive and the negative. For most of us, we receive so many more positive inputs about our art than we do negative, but we choose to focus on the negative. Almost comically, in my upper division art classes over the years, most students thought that they were the weakest link in the class. Now, categorically, that can't be true of everyone. Critiques would offer 10 pieces of positive feedback to one critical piece. The staff was supportive, I was encouraging, and most of their parents were positive about their artwork. And yet, most of them held onto the one or two negative things that they heard and held them as the true representations of their work. We have the power to avoid this, to rationally look at the evidence and reconstruct our understanding of this critique. To look at the few negative pieces and, instead of letting them weigh us down, choose to see them as opinions that might contain helpful gems. No art appeals to all people, and even the artists you love most have their critics. Choose to see the critique in a way that is rational and beneficial to you, the creator. Finally, separate self-worth from art worth. You as a human are valuable. You have worth. Your ideas, your experiences are yours and yours alone, and they are valid. You are a creator, an artist who brings things into this world, and that is wonderful. Remember that you have value as a human being, and that exists independent of your artwork. You are you, and the world is a better place with so many yous. Thank you for watching and listening. Critique is difficult and often overwhelming. I would love to hear in the comments down below of any triumphs you have had over critique, or even some lessons you've learned from it. Also, if you liked the video, please consider subscribing. Thanks again. Have a good one, y'all. See you soon.